Das Boot, or The Boat, is a German war film from 1981 directed by Wolfgang Petersen, who is apparently a director of a lot of movies that I think are pretty good that I never knew he directed. I picked up the Project Pop Art Steelbook at Best Buy a while ago. When these Steelbooks released, I grabbed a good handful of them, and Das Boot was one I grabbed due to it being on IMDb's top 250 list. Ever since then, years and years go by, and I never watched it until now, and I can cross this one off my list. This film is interesting because it's a World War II film focusing on the German Nazi soldier point of view. The film follows a Navy platoon on their U-boats heading into battle attacking British shipping boats. The film opens with text saying that out of 40,000 soldiers on U-boats, 30,000 never returned. It's a soft open with this text that kicks into a group of soldiers partying. A drunk captain gets on stage where he says some potentially negative things about Hitler when some of the troops tense up. He backtracks his words, but this scene sets the seed that not every soldier is on board with the Fuhrer, and that statement ripples throughout the film. The film is an examination into what life was like for these soldiers on the U-boats and doesn't sugarcoat anything really. The film humanizes what we would call evil. Now, presenting a story like this would definitely have to toe the line, since it easily could be fallen into that category of Nazi sympathizing, which I personally don't believe the film does. It shows that not everyone believed in Hitler's plan and humanizes some of the soldiers to showcase that these are people in a situation trying to survive on their own, while mixing in the beliefs that they might think they're the good guys as well. Sure, there are some that clearly buy into the propaganda and the agenda of the Third Reich, but it does a decent job at showcasing everybody without sympathizing toward the evils of the movement. I love the interior of the boat as it seemed believable and looked great. It's tight and cramped, and the camera moves pretty much in one vertical axis that runs the length of the boat to sell it even further. These tight, cramped spaces, along with the sound design and the fact that there is constantly water dripping from somewhere, amplifies the claustrophobia of the ship. When engaged in battle, it's intense, and when the film gets toward the back end without spoilers, it does feel hopeless and dreadful. My biggest issue with the film is honestly the lack of characters. We have a large cast and the cast give great performances, but honestly the film gives little background to the characters, which when they aren't in scenes of action can tend to feel to drag on and on and on. Sure, the character performances are great and showing you how the characters think, but without some backstory or more interesting dialogue, the downtime scenes are just that, they're downtime. This is a 2.5 hour movie and I can feel it. Honestly, I wouldn't mind giving it another watch and maybe the dialogue scenes would land a little better for me, but I had moments where I thought to myself I was ready for it to move on. There's a lot in this film to appreciate for sure, especially the use of practical effects and the set design. The makeup and wardrobe was amazing to make the sailors look just as filthy and pale from sea life as they're supposed to. I guess according to IMDb trivia, it was basically impossible to get audio on set during the scenes inside the U-boat, so they were dubbed over in post. And while it's slightly noticeable at some points, the ADR is actually really great and pretty unnoticeable through most of the movie. I will say some of the scenes where the sailors are on lookout, it's a pretty noticeable green screen, but other than that, everything looks pretty amazing. I just kind of wish I got more into it from a narrative standpoint. That's again why I'm open to a rewatch. Maybe my rating could go up. I doubt it would go down. It is worth noting that this set did come with the director's cut as well as the theatrical cut. I watched the theatrical cut. I personally, for the first time viewing, always liked watching what was released in theaters, since that's what everybody else got to see first. My second viewing would probably be the director's cut though. Das Boot is definitely worth a recommendation, especially if you like war films, because from the setting and the viewpoint, it's unlike a lot of the other war films. I'm giving this one a 6.5 out of 10.